All right, kids, what's going on? Recording this on Sunday night. Hope you guys had a good weekend. The weather was awesome this weekend, so hopefully you guys got outside the entire time. Another benefit, Earth science benefit, is that the days are getting longer. So I'm sitting outside on my porch swing. It is 8:20 at night, and it is still light out. There's kids playing in the street. It's awesome. It's the best time of the year, right? When the days are getting longer. May and June. Um, and just in summer in general is my favorite, right? So it's pretty cool. So all this stuff has to do with earth science. And I was gonna do stuff on Superfund sites today, but I want to get climate in today. I'm going to circle back to that for you. Believe it or not, next week will be your last assignment uh, of the year. So we'll talk more about that next week. But today we're going to talk about climate and climate factors. And then on Wednesday, I'll talk about climate change. Um, there are several factors that affect climate, right? There's really six. And right here, see, it's latitude, ocean currents, winds, and air masses, elevation and altitude, relief, and nearest to water. So we're going to talk about those six. So the major one is latitude, right? The closer to the equator, the warmer it is, right? So if you're going to go on spring break, right, it's February or whatever you want to go on vacation, college kids going on spring break. They don't go, oh, I'm going to go to, spring break Alaska, right? They're not going to a higher latitude. You're going to a lower latitude, right? During the wintertime, that's where people like to travel. The reason for that is because it's warmer as you get closer to the equator. That's the number one factor with climate. Um, our next factor is ocean currents. This is from your reference tables. You're going to need this because you're going to have a Castle Learning. I'll talk about it later. To answer some questions, but ocean currents, wind currents, air masses, those all affect our climate. Now, a huge factor is the ocean currents. And actually, I'll try to zoom in here. This guy's kind of small. But if you look in close, here we have North America, and we have over here the Gulf Stream current. And a key that you'll need down here tells you if it's a warm current or cold current. So we live over here. We have, of course, a warm current, which is the Gulf Stream, right? So the water is actually warmer than it should be. Our climate, believe it or not, is warmer than it should be. And you know what this really helps out is England and Ireland. Like, look at those areas over there. If you've ever been to England and Ireland, it's rainy. It's a cool climate, but it's way warmer than it should be. Look at the latitude that they're at, right? Middle to northern Canada almost, right? It should be colder than it is, but that North Atlantic current hooks them up with some warm water. It's rainy there. It really affects the climate there. But for us as well, I have a cousin out in California. Visit him, he visit me. Growing up, and swim in the water there. You always think California warm, tropical palm trees. The water in California is colder than the water here. The water here is warm. If you go swimming in California in the summer and swimming here in the summer, the water here is way warmer, right? Because the California current comes up from the north. It is a cool ocean current, right? So that has a huge factor on climate. Now, we also have elevation as a factor, right? If you're going to draw a mountain, you draw snow on the top of the mountain, right? Snow-capped mountains, because as you go higher in elevation, the climate gets cooler, right? And there can be significant differences as you go up to the top of a mountain, right? It doesn't really have to, it happens pretty quick. So as you go up, it gets cooler, right? People at high elevation have cooler temperatures. So if the same exact latitude, one person is at a higher altitude, they're going to have a cooler temperature, right? Now, this one you might not know about. It's called the orographic effect. I'm going to type that in. Orographic effect. And what that means is that mountain barriers affect the climate. So depending on the prevailing wind. So in this picture, right, the wind here is coming from the left, right? Let's pretend that is the west. Coming from the west, it hits the mountain, it rises up, and it forces, right? As we know, when air rises, clouds form. We have rain on this side of the mountain, and it blocks. It's almost like it's like a barrier. It blocks the rain. So we have rain on this side, and on the other side, it is dry. All right. And we have a rainy side and a dry desert side, right? And if you look here, I have a map of California, right? And you can see here it's nice and lush and green over here, and in here it's a little bit dry. And over here it's way dry. It's a desert. Why? Mountain range here. So it's rainy, right? And up there's my son, Cameo. Say hi, Tyler.
Hi.
I'm teaching about climate. So we have rainy area here, then we have a desert. Rainy area here, desert. That's because the prevailing winds are coming from the west. They're blocked by the mountains to cause the air to rise. We have a rainy area and then a desert area right next to it. So pretty cool. All right, let's go back. So that's huge. Make sure you know which way the prevailing wind's coming from and how the mountains are blocking it. The next one is you're closest to a body of water, and we experience that here ourselves, right? We live in New York, and we live on Long Island, and look where we are, right here. We are surrounded by water. We are in a coastal community right by the Long Island Sound, right? And what water does, if you remember from our specific heat unit, because water has a high specific heat, it takes a long time to heat up and a long time to cool down, and it kind of moderates our temperature. So water moderates the temperature, cooler summers, warmer winters. So our water leads us to have cooler summers and also warmer winters because it maintains that heat, right? It cools up slow and it heats slow. So we kind of have a very mellow. If you see right here, City B is by the water. It's mellow temperatures. Where if you go inland, where there's not a lot of water, it heats up and cools really quickly. So if you look at us here, we're here. My brother and my sister both went to Penn State University, which is right smack dab in the middle of Pennsylvania. It's almost the same exact latitude as where we live, right? So I'd be like, oh my God, in the summertime, let's say they're doing a summer session. Oh my God, I'd be like, it's really hot here. I'd be like, it's 85 on Long Island. I'd be like, oh my God, it's like 96 here in Pennsylvania. And in the wintertime, I'd be like, oh my God, it's really cold. It's 30 here in Long Island. I'd be like, oh my God, it's like 5 in Pennsylvania. There's huge temperature swings inland, and that is the climate factor of how close you are to a body of water. So those are the 5 climate factors, right? Remember that? Lower in, all right? Latitude, ocean currents, winds and air masses, elevation, relief, mountain barriers, and nearness to water. So those are your climate factors. Your assignment this week, you have 15 Castle Learning questions. I know some of you guys hate Castle Learning, but it's only 15 questions. And when I tell you I'm giving you less work than my first grade daughter has, I'm not joking. I really am giving you less work. She probably does more work in one day than you guys have all week. So I'm not lying about that. Just do the 15 questions. It's not that bad. It's all on this lesson, and we're going to talk more about climate change on Wednesday. And then next week, I'm going to do another road show. I'm going to the Tesla side of the Wardenclyffe Tower, talk about Superfund sites and talk about the Tesla thing going on there. And that'll be your last thing. So that's it, guys. Hope you had a good weekend. Let me know if you have any questions. Grades should be all updated by the time you see this. If you are missing something, let me know, because it doesn't send me alert. Oh, so-and-so handed it in. So let me know if, I handed this in, I can update it, right? Get your stuff in, okay? I'm still taking stuff. So get stuff in, all right? All right, I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.